Hello everyone, your Miss Unamused Nerd here, and for this Miss Unamused Art School, I am going to be teaching you guys how to make your very own replica of the camera Obscura. For those of you who do not know what it is, the camera Obscura is your main weapon against the vengeful spirits in the Fatal Frame franchise, which is a wonderful, underrated, which it shouldn't be underrated, Japanese survival horror game. Throughout the franchise, the camera Obscura has gone through different models of bellows camera, and it honestly was a tough choice to pick which model I wanted to recreate, but I decided to go with the one that is wielded by Miyu Amakura in Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly. I decided to pick this model of the camera because among the American Fatal Frame community, Fatal Frame 2 seems to be the most popular with the fans, and in my opinion, this model of the camera looks a lot better compared to Rei's and Miku's. So, if you're a die-hard fan of the Fatal Frame franchise who've always wanted their own camera Obscura, well, just be sure to follow this video step by step and you will have your very own replica. So, it's finally the day and we're going to start working on my camera, and if you follow my Twitter, you've probably seen that video of me showing you all the supplies you're going to need, but I skipped over some because the time is running up, so, okay, let me show you everything you're going to need. You're going to need paintbrushes, including a sponge brush, X-acto blade, scissors, cutting mat to protect your workspace, which is optional if you're careful, ruler, pen or pencil, beige painter's tape, gold Sharpie, 2.5 centimeter diameter aluminum foil tube. This is optional, but if you're good at folding, because we are making the bellows ourselves, this is what I'm using. So I can make like perfect folds that are measured out good. I would like measure it and just draw the lines, but I just want it to be perfect. So the paints you're gonna need. Bronze, antique nickel, charcoal, titanium and gold, pure gold, black, rainy day gray, fawn, and whatever the fuck this is. I can't find the color on it. So yeah, let's get... Oh, and of course we need a lot of cardboard because that's what the camera's going to be majorly made out of. Okay, I've never done this build before. I'm a little nervous. I'm worried I'm going to fuck up, but let's get started. Now, since I'm using my bellows camera for pretty much roughly around the same size I want my replica to be, I'm gonna like adjust the measurements just a little bit so it looks closer to the one Miyu used, and Miyu's look like it's a little more squarish. So, first of all, you're gonna need a strip of cardboard, and this is like the thin, flexible cardboard. Like if you're getting like a cheap ass cot bed frame in the mail, you would get one of these, like in between them or whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, you're gonna have to make curves in the cardboard. So when these get put together, you're basically gonna get how the camera is gonna look. Now this is the back of the camera. I'm gonna have to tape this together. First, I have to trim and clean up some of the edges. We're gonna glue two panels here and here. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. To do this, this is pretty much what I did. Just take your cardboard on the edge of your table if you have a sharp edge table, if it's not round. Well, you probably can't see that. See? Just make sure you're getting every little fold of the cardboard's little waves that are inside of it. And just bring these two together. And we're going to tape the center. Okay, I've jumped a gun on this, but this is idiot proof. It should be simple for anyone to follow. So when you have your two sides meet, I need to put a little bit of tape right here so these seams are together. On the inside, you're going to need a full strip of tape, not just like a little bit, a full strip. If you want a little extra stability, I suggest you go with 2. Then I noticed my curves weren't staying. They would like bend and stuff. So I got a paper towel roll, cut it in half, and I cut the two halves to length, and I cut the tubes in half. And with a lot of glue, I don't suggest using hot glue because it will probably dry before you can put it on there. So, and that's where they are. Should be keeping my edges. And this step is very simple. For the panel, all you have to do is just put your camera down on a piece of cardboard like this, trace it, and put glue on the edges, and put something on there. Like I use my DS to push weight on the panel, and just glue it in place. Now this is already the top panel. This is where the knobs, the button, and the viewfinder are going to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out a square for where the bells are going to be, and I'm gonna have to glue the bottom panel on. Alright, next thing you do is cut out your panel if this is where the bells are going to come out. Glue on your bottom panel, which I've already done, and use the panel that you cut out. If it came out in one shape, just glue it to this part, which mine didn't. I had to cut it in. Well, I started off right here. It was too small, and I recut it, so I have to make another panel out of different cardboard. So, yeah, let me get to gluing the panel. Okay, so far it's coming out pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and paint the body of the camera, and it looks like I'm just going for, the in-game model looks like this more like a dark blackish brownish color, which I'm going to do like some smudge of, we'll worry about the weathering and adding some stuff like that. So, okay, so I'm going to paint this and the door right here, and I'm going to add the gold strips, which I'm going to just work on the body of the camera, and I'm going to show you I'm going to show you the colors you have to mix up to get the right color. Okay, so this is, well, I tried to go for like a darkish blackish brown, and I used this one, and black, and I used a little bit of charcoal, if it'll focus. Well, it's 11086 charcoal. And that's what I'm going to do for the main body of the camera. So sorry for the fan, and here's the camera so far. I accidentally deleted the clip where I explained the whole gold weather process, which I will go over it again when I show you the knob and this. But right now I'm currently working on the gold strips, which they look way too gold, so I might have to re-dirty those, but it's just simple. Just get some beige painter's tape and layer it. That's what this is. These are 3 strips of tape I just added together, and I went with several coats of this pure metallic gold. And I'm gonna have to go back over it with a black wash because this just looks too clean, and I think I might go over it with a watered down coat of titanium gold so it looks closer to the knob. But yeah, this is just simple. Just grab your beige painter's tape. Like, you can see where I started trimming some of the excess off. Just go over it. Just, like, layer it. Go over it with gold. Do some black wash before you attach it to your camera, because honestly this looks too clean, so I have to muck it up. And trim off the excess, which let's see, this tape is, I'm going to do this. Well, just trim off whatever amount you need, because one full strip of this was like way too wide for this camera, and I'm gonna have to trim a little bit off for the bellows to slip in. So yeah, that's pretty much all you gotta do. I'm gonna go back over this with a more muck coat, so it's a little more brownish. Okay, now that I made this, this is just pure gold mixed with titanium gold. And if it gets too dullish in color, not dull, but if it gets too bright in color, just add a couple drops of your black wash and that will help darken it up. And speaking of the dark wash, this is just dirty black paint water has a thick mesh paint in it, so just dab it on a cloth and just go over it, which I did a couple times. Give it a couple seconds to the point where it's almost drying, and just be messy when you're wiping it off, because if you just do it all in one sweep, we don't want it to look too uniform when we're making something that's supposed to be old and exposed to the elements. And speaking of which, if you have this titanium gold, just move it to an empty pocket on your paint palette, add a little water, and it's the same process when you're weathering the camera, giving it this metallic look. Just when you have the wet gold paint, just like dip it in there and just blot it. Give it a couple seconds to dry, and then just be messy when you're messy motions when you're just wiping it away with a clean rag. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and glue these on here, and I'll see you in the next clip. Okay, so this is what I got so far. I like it looks good. Now, if you're making yours and you can follow along, and you think this is too plain, like the weathering is not good enough, well, if you're gonna go for the more decorative one with all these swirly vines on it, and it's kind of hard to tell what those are, but if you watch the beginning of this video while I'm shooting Ghost, you can see from up these edges of the screen, up here where the alarm is, you can see this swirly vine pattern. So that's pretty much what it is, and it looks like it's just that pattern repeating. So, hey, if you're talented enough to make this little vine pattern, go for it. All you need is 4 pieces like this, and if you have a scoreboard like I do, I just counted every 5 notches I would score, and I already have all my bellows. Next thing you're going to need a square piece of cardboard, which should almost fit the mouth of your camera. You don't want it the exact size, because we're going to have to flip these over it, and we don't need that little bit of difference to make the thing too wide to where I can't slide into the camera. Now, I already have a hot glue gun heating up, so what I'm going to do is just simply attach all 4 of these, get that little tube I mentioned earlier, put it in the center, glue another piece of cardboard on top. If you have aluminum foil too, just cut it down to size, however long you decide to make your bellows, but I guess you show. So yeah, that's how long mine are. But when your bellows are folded like this, of course they're going to be smaller, so just cut your tube to length, and I'll see you when I get all the pieces together. Okay, I apologize, I jumped the gun on this, but the tube is in there, and all you do is just fold over 2 pieces of the bellows and just attach them to the tube, get another piece of cardboard and fold the other 2 flaps over, and this is your bellows. Now, let me put this down for a sec. Okay. Now, I know this might not look that good. I mean, you have all these open seams, but you know what? I don't know how to fix that, so just live with it. Now I'm going to have to paint these and fix these bellows up a little bit. Okay, guys, keep in mind while you're working, always have your reference photo with you. Alright, so, yeah, even the bellows aren't perfect. I think I can hide these seams with these hinges right here. I already cut out this piece. I just need to do a circle and another circle for the lens, and I need to find that thing with the kanji on it so I can do it around the lens. And, well, I think I should wait until I paint these like a blackish color before I start gluing them together, but yeah. Let's see, you gotta do 4 hinges, you gotta do the little joint right here, and this piece, which just looks like a loop with a space in between it. So, okay. Don't worry, I'll link these photos in the description below so you don't get lost. So yeah, I just need to make these 4 hinges, which will be perfect to hide the seams. Gotta do this little joint right here and the little latch right here that connects this little thing right here to the hinge so the camera can fold. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna work on the lens first and do all the hinges. First, you're gonna need to cut this out and get that side's dirty, so get a circle about that size, and you're gonna make a smaller circle, which here's a 50-cent piece. You can guess see how big this is. The 50-cent piece actually works. So I'm gonna work on building this up, and you'll see it in the next clip. Alright, so here's what I have so far. I think I'm gonna have to darken this circle a bit. I just took a thin strip of cardboard and I glued the two ends together to match the circle. I'm gonna have to go over it with paint. So yeah, I mixed a little copper with dark brown or earth brown, wherever that color went. And I managed to get that color, which I used for these two, and I went over with black wash and washed it to make it old and dirty looking, and I did a little dry brushing on the edges with titanium gold, which gives it a good weathering appearance. So I'm gonna let this glue dry, and while you wait for that to dry, I suggest you get a piece of plastic. Either this, I traced my 50-cent piece on this lid to the Brownie Bites container. So I don't think I'm gonna glue it on top. I think we're just gonna put something in here and just push it halfway through, since the camera lens does go in a little bit, so I'm gonna work on that. Okay, so this is what I got so far as for the lens. I think I'm gonna do a little scuffing of that. I don't know, maybe I'll just leave it like this, but yeah, I did some dry brushing on the edges to make it look like it's all these pieces are just scraped on metal's exposed. So just bring this over. It's looking pretty good, but it's missing something. The kanji that's written around the lens. Luckily, I found an image on DeviantArt, which I can use, which is perfectly exact towards the one on Fatal Frame 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the kanji. Okay, so I have this part done. I had to cluster like these two in because I couldn't fit in all 12. I had to repaint this entire thing just to make some of these smaller, but it's fine. Here's the template I went off of. You can either pause the video or later on I'll link the picture in the description. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and glue it on right here. Okay, it's actually coming together pretty good. Now we're gonna have to do the finishing touches. If you're wondering what the fuck you skipped these, yes I did. I accidentally deleted that clip, so don't worry. I'm gonna do the same process I did with the button and the little knobs as I'm going to do with the hinges. The hinges, I'm going to be using cardboard. I got a Freddy vs. Jason pop vinyl shirt, and inside the shirt there is this piece of cardboard, which does have ridges in it, so that's good. I try to use cardboard from a from some poster, you know, like when you get like little dry erase board posters or some I don't know, some other stuff, but this is too flimsy for the hinges, so I'm gonna stick with that. So let me focus this. So I gotta make these two and this little plate right here, which looks like it's two separate strips. So just like a U shape right here, and there's another one right here that goes to the bolt of that one right here. So alright, so I'm gonna cut out these shapes, spray paint them silver, and I'm gonna show you the same weathering process, or the deteriorating process, or whatever it's called, for the hinges, and that's pretty much going to tell you how to do it for the knobs and the button. Okay, so basically for the hinges, first thing I did, I freehanded it. Then I traced it to make it a little bit bigger. Then I traced it again to where they're big enough to go in here and cover up these really distracting seams. Now I'm going to paint them the same exact way I did the knobs. I'm going to explain the knobs really quick because I accidentally deleted that clip, like I said. And of course I have to explain the button. Firstly, the knobs. These are bottle caps from 2 cheap water bottles. This one is from either Spring Park or Spring Water, I don't remember, but it has this weird little knob. And this one I know for a fact is from Deer Park. And all I did right here was take this little push pin. Oh, hey, you can see me. And I just stuck it into the top. And next thing I did, I just got good old Rust-Oleum, metallic silver, and I spray painted them. And I went over them with titanium and gold, pure gold, and copper, and with some black wash when they were done, to give them a very exposed to sort of color. Now, I don't know if the camera Obscura was originally like black and silver, like the bellows camera I currently own, that you saw in the beginning of this video, or it was just like black and gold, but I'm just doing my own interpretation of it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get to work on these. Oh, and about the water bottle caps, you can just get any cheap water bottle caps. Like, I got this Nestle water. What I did was I cut the lip off the bottle cap because it was a little too high. And I think when you cut the lip off and it doesn't sit evenly, you can just get some sandpaper and shave it off. Now for the button, I just took apart a ballpoint pen. You can get a Bic or Office Depot, any round ballpoint pen. And I used my X-acto knife and I took this off. Wait, I think it's still on the table. Yep, here it is. I was originally going to use this for the button, but it didn't sit well. Plus, it was all rigid and broken from me cutting off. So I just took off a portion of the tube and I used sandpaper to get the edges smooth so it would sit evenly. And I took a piece of cardboard and I just glued it on top and painted it. But of course, I did the same thing. I did Rust-Oleum, I did the gold, copper, and titanium gold, and I black washed it so it would look old. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish painting these hinges. So basically, this is the shape you need. I already got my second pair over here, but these are my first two. These are going to be for the top of the camera. And here's my test piece. If you can tell that this one's a little more yellowy than this one, this is just a light brush of titanium gold. This is titanium gold, copper, and black wash, which makes it look really old and worn out. But it's a little too silvery, so you can see a little silver on this. So I gotta work on this a little more because the camera Obscura is supposed to be really old and messed up looking. So yeah, let me show you how to paint these suckers. Now, if you're wondering, does this bitch really have her iPod propped on a fucking spray paint can? You're damn right I do. So this is the same way how I paint the bottle caps and the button and like the pen tube that I talked about earlier. So what we're gonna do is just dry brush for some titanium gold onto these. We don't want them to be like too unsilvery, so just like spread the paint on as much as you can. See? Oops, got a little fucking hair from the brush. Don't you guys hate that? You try to paint and little hairs from the paintbrush just fall off? Get these little hairs off. It's so annoying. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you put like a little paint or a lot of paint, just really smear it and spread it out to like real thin layers. Here's the other side. I'm gonna do both sides, so but it's up to you. You can do either one side or both sides. So, oops. Now that's kind of dry. Never do the same with gold. Let me just clean off my brush. Get some of this gold. Do the other side. Hair from the fucking brush is falling off again. See how it's like goldish color, but you can still see the silver? And I'm gonna do the same with copper, but not too much. And these little fucking hairs. And that's pretty much all you gotta do for now. So let's just let that air dry for a few seconds. And just gotta get some black wash. This is just like, we have a black paint bottle that's almost empty. Just fill it with water, shake it up. And that's pretty much it. Let me try and wipe off some of this excess because I feel like it's a little too much. Okay. Now, I think we're gonna apply this with a paintbrush, so not that brush. Okay, same brush I used. More of these fucking hairs falling off. Okay, now we're just gonna let this sit and dry for a few seconds. And when it's close to dry, I'll just lightly dab it to wipe off any excess. And let's see how it looks. Still think it's a little too clean, but you get the basic idea. Just keep going until you get this rusty color. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this for all four, front and back, and I'll glue them to the camera to show you what they look like. And this is the camera Obscura from Fatal Frame 2. Now, if you've been following along with me, congratulations, you have your own camera Obscura. And if you have made yours, feel free to send me a picture to be featured in the viewer gallery, which is something I'm going to start doing at the end of every Miss Unmused Art School. So, I will have the playlist linked down below. If you made any of my past projects or project you're currently watching, feel free to send me a picture to be featured in the viewer gallery. So I know I didn't do the bottom hinges. I like it with just these four. It covers up the seam, and it actually looks pretty good. But yeah, so hope some diehard Fatal Framers found this video. If you like this video, please give it an upvote, and I'll see you guys in the next video.